downhill minecart clipping, uphill minecart clipping, curved track clipping. Redstone removal doesn't cause a block update. Minecart clipping on top of a track. The fire animation stops rendering when the entity leaves the screen. Lava sticks around for minutes after the source block has been removed. Snow is less likely to fall near the boundaries of 8x8 chunklets. Unoccupied minecarts don't trigger detector rails when going down a slope. When ice melts, the water doesn't start flowing. Pressing shift while in a bed causes a graphical glitch. Entities clip blocks that are being pushed by a piston. Entities clip pistons that are retracting but not extending. In creative mode, entity hit detection ignores block occlusion. In single player, arrows don't trigger pressure plates until a particle effect intersects the pressure plate. Sometimes boats will create water particle effects even though they aren't in water. Pushing a boat will break snow. Right-clicking while in a boat and holding a boat will sometimes place a boat. Boats will sometimes ignore currents. You can't place a bed on snow. Right-clicking on cake performs no action. Soul sand makes it impossible to walk through a 2-meter tall opening. Encasing a block in glass will make it almost completely unlit. Pulling certain blocks with sticky pistons can cause invalid game states. Powering a line that's already powered doesn't update the entire line. An arrow shot into a half block next to a dispenser can be picked up from far away. Double wood slabs aren't flammable, whereas normal wood blocks are. Sometimes newly placed rail doesn't receive power from its neighbors. Stacked minecarts propel themselves even off-rail. Mobs will exit still minecarts upon reloading the world. A half block with ice underneath it is slippery. Soul sand becomes much slower with ice underneath it. Entities partially clipping blocks are dark. The fire animation is rendered dark if it's not in light. TNT doesn't respond to repeaters. Dispensers don't respond to repeaters. Lighting blocked by stairs looks weird. When detector rails are moved by pistons, they aren't updated correctly. Items still animate up and down even when they're falling down webs. Falling through webs still yields fall damage. The fence gate hitbox isn't thin like normal fence posts. Arrows fired from dispensers bounce off of players. When a piston is updated by another piston, it creates a glitchy block. Arrows are not slowed by webs. Rails don't extend all the way to the edge of the block. When crouching, your skin peeks through armor. Power dispensers will fire when they receive redstone updates. Ice melts to water in the nether. Sometimes repeaters freeze when the game is reloaded. When water touches a door, it provides a redstone update. Arrows don't clip stairs correctly. Arrows can get stuck in mid-air. Sometimes, right-clicking on a wooden door will toggle the adjacent door. Milking a mushroom with a stack full of bowls will destroy all but one bowl. Mobs treat signs as solid blocks and walk off of edges they wouldn't normally walk off of. You can place boats inside of walls. This sticky piston doesn't pulse, but this one does. This column is shown when you go into F5 mode below sea level. Flaming minecarts aren't extinguished by water. A repeater facing east placed next to a torch will momentarily blink on. Despite the fact that almost all consumable items are infinite in creative mode, feeding an animal wheat will consume the wheat. Likewise, bones are consumed when taming wolves. Baby animals won't follow players that are holding wheat. Very rarely, the shift key gets stuck, causing certain operations to become impossible. If you have empty slots in your inventory bar in creative mode, closing and reopening the world will reset those slots back to the default block. Removing a block will cause fence gates, trapdoors, and doors to close. Harvesting a double slab with silk touch only yields a single slab. Destroying a storage minecart with enchanted items in it will remove the enchantment from the items. Boats will appear to glide even though they're actually sitting still. Sometimes exiting a boat will cause glitchy behavior. Sometimes chests will get stuck in an open state. After an explosion, sometimes phantom TNT will be left behind. After being shot with an arrow, sometimes minecarts can be pushed into walls. When a minecart is stuck in a block, clicking it will neither destroy the minecart nor mine the block. Mobs farther than 32 meters away will stop moving. Sometimes arrows will just bounce off of mobs and players for no reason. Sprinting after crouching causes glitchy non-sprinting. Spider jockeys produce a graphical glitch. In multiplayer creative mode, changing altitudes over a pressure plate can cause it to pulse randomly on and off. Arrows snap to the top of blocks. North or south moving minecarts will tilt as soon as they leave the track. Graphical glitches with turning minecarts. Falling sand causes lighting glitches. Note that this doesn't happen in single player. Pressure plates don't make sounds. Levers don't make sounds. Buttons don't make sounds when popping back up. Fishing rods make a whooshing sound when they're reeled back in. Note that this doesn't happen in single player. Logging out and logging back in will reset a player's velocity. Aggressive wolves will keep attacking even when told to sit. Sometimes player skins will fail to load for the client even after long periods of time. Fishing rods don't pull players. Snowballs cause knockback on mobs, but they don't cause knockback on players. Players can be hit through doors by arrows. After logging out and logging back in, wolves that were sitting will appear to be standing. Shearing a mushroom creates an extra client-side phantom cow. When a new sign receives a block update, the text disappears. Mobs and unloaded chunks move up and down rapidly. Very rarely, items like this bow will just disappear. When turned on, the green block in this piston clock becomes invisible. Sometimes the player's shoulders will wiggle aggressively. By simultaneously removing a redstone torch and pushing a block, the block's metadata value can be changed. Changing redstone connectivity doesn't properly update redstone torches. Every second or so, all repeaters will propagate a signal after one tick rather than their normal delay. Destroying a repeater with a piston doesn't cause a redstone update. Glass blocks and glass panes aren't collectible with Silk Touch tools. Glowstone makes it look like redstone isn't connected even though it is. Breaking a powered redstone lamp drops a powered redstone lamp item. If your head is embedded in glowstone, you can see through all the blocks around you. In creative, breaking the bottom half of a door doesn't drop an item, but breaking the top half does. If creepers can't pathfind directly to you, they won't explode, even if they're well within range. Upon reloading a world, light sources will only provide light to their own chunk. You can place a mushroom in daylight, but any update will cause it to break. Zombies and skeletons on soul sand don't burn, while in a boat or a minecart, throwing an ender pearl will cause damage but won't teleport you. If you put a disc in a jukebox, turn the sound all the way down, and eject the disc, the sound will keep playing. Removing this repeater doesn't update the lamp. When you're within water, you can't see nether portals. If you stand right next to a piston at head height like so, it won't push you. Sometimes the opening screen will display raw HTML. Destroying a painting while sprinting duplicates the painting. In creative mode, you can fly up and down in water unimpeded, but horizontal movement is still slow. If you place 4 saplings like this, with a ceiling above them, and use bone meal on the jungle sapling, when updated, the other saplings will turn into jungle saplings. A player riding a baby pig appears to hover above the saddle. Snow golems die under snowfall as if it were rainfall. In creative flying mode, pressing shift next to a ladder will not make you descend. If you sneak while looking downwards, the head accessory in your skin will be occluded by your face. Upside down half slabs are prone to lighting glitches. You can't throw, shoot, or perform any other right-click action while looking at an iron door. Right-clicking on the saddled pig still performs the right-click action for the item in your hand. The same thing happens with storage minecarts. As a furnace minecart goes around turns, the direction that the furnace is facing flips back and forth. Sometimes world generation can generate water in an invalid state. It's possible to mine and place blocks while sleeping. If you mine your bed while sleeping, physics will become buggy and you won't be affected by water physics. Blocks placed directly above beds create lighting glitches. If you set up repeaters like this with a ceiling 2 meters above, you can fall through the floor. Creating a portal above y equals 127 will cause the corresponding portal to spawn above the bedrock in the nether. Mobs in tightly packed spaces will appear to ignore walls for extended periods of time. Sometimes mobs will glitch up and down near walls. Sometimes dead mobs will persist on the client. Sometimes mobs will become temporarily immune to player attacks. TNT explosions can create phantom items that only appear on the client side and can't be picked up, much like these redstone torches. You can't bring up a chat prompt while you're in a portal. When you go through a portal, all potion effects will become disabled. In creative mode, if you pick up items with the creative menu open, they'll show up in the creative menu. Entering a single colon into the direct connect dialog will crash. When opening a creative world for the first time with a single player server, you'll enter the game in survival mode. Under certain circumstances, trying to place or remove a block will appear to work initially, but then the action will get undone. Sometimes, with the shown configuration, blocks can actually be deleted by pistons, causing a glitchy piston head. Sometimes torches can burn out, and even replacing them will not repair the damage. Sleeping in a bed with a roof immediately overhead will cause you to fall out of the bed. Zombie pigmen in daylight will be sporadically and momentarily set on fire. Breaking this redstone with this piston will not cause a block update on the other piston. In placing rail, it always appears to be momentarily in a default position before aligning to the correct position. Dropping a stack of spawn eggs on the ground produces a graphical glitch. When a boat is stuck in a block, sometimes hitting it will not break it. Sometimes, like in the case of the planks from this boat, items will become invisible until you pick them up. If you power a piston and then immediately destroy it, you'll get a floating piston arm. If you build an iron golem up against a wall, it'll immediately start suffocating. When you exit a minecart, you can go through thin walls. Going straight from a minecart to a bed causes a graphical glitch. You can't walk straight up to and start climbing a ladder from soul sand. Entire chunks will disappear for 1 frame at a time. A boat dispensed into moving water won't follow the current. In F5 mode, vines that you're holding look gray. Increasing or decreasing the strength of a redstone signal can cause a piston to pulse off. You can use ender pearls to teleport through non-solid walls. Falling sand can sometimes form phantom blocks that will disappear as soon as they're updated.
Drinking one item and then immediately switching to another will cause you to drink the second instantly. Fast pulsing pistons can actually appear to intersect each other. TNT no longer propels the player. In creative mode, breaking TNT will still drop an item. If you're standing too close, placing a ladder will appear to work but really doesn't. The first time you open a map after opening a world, the map data is extremely slow to load. While holding a map in a boat, switching in and out of F5 mode will cause your left hand to occlude the map. This effect does not reverse until the game is restarted. Nudging a boat will cause it to appear to move even though it's not. Sometimes boats can be somewhere other than where they appear to be and it causes glitchy movement. Placing redstone torches on the 4 sides of this block causes 4 different piston behaviors, despite the fact that the piston setups are rotationally symmetric. The skeleton part of a spider jockey bumps up and down randomly. A spider jockey in a minecart will move on a track with infinite momentum. A spider jockey in a minecart on open ground will keep moving indefinitely. Reloading the world will cause the skeleton and the spider of the spider jockey to separate. If you have 2 ender pearls and throw one straight down, it will still show that you have 2, but you really only have 1. If you throw ender pearls with the correct timing, you can teleport through the ceiling. Enchanting doesn't work. If you set the language to Español Mexico, and then click Opciones, then Controles, the game crashes. Putting too many minecarts on the same rail will cause the minecarts to go all blinky.